Were Microsoft, Amazon, and Google just wrongly punished by the market? That is the question every serious investor should be asking right now. Because the market is looking at big tech AI spending and saying, wait a second, you are collectively spending around $725 billion this year on data centers, GPUs, and AI infrastructure. But when does that money actually come back? For the past 2 years, the market rewarded almost any company that could say the words artificial intelligence. But now the tone has changed. Investors are asking a harder question. Are Microsoft, Amazon, and Google building the next enterprise AI toll roads? Or are they being pulled into an expensive arms race where everyone has to spend just to stay alive? That is the entire debate. And here is my view. AI is moving from experimentation into financial discipline, and that shift could make Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud more valuable, not less. I'm Phoebe with TradingKey. Today, we are breaking down the real logic behind the hyperscaler sell-off, why AI cost controls are not the same thing as AI demand destruction, and whether the big three are being priced like victims when they may actually become the platforms that control the next phase of enterprise AI. What the market is really afraid of. Let's start with the obvious problem. The spending is enormous. The 4 largest cloud and AI platforms could collectively spend roughly $725 billion on capital expenditure in 2026, up approximately 89% year over year. To make that concrete, Amazon spent $43.2 billion on infrastructure in just Q1 2026. Google spent $35.7 billion. Microsoft spent $31.9 billion. Microsoft has guided for approximately $190 billion in full-year capex. Google raised its guidance to $180 to $190 billion. These are not small numbers, and they are not normal software numbers. In the old software world, investors loved capital-light growth. Once Microsoft built Office, the next user was extremely profitable. Once AWS built the cloud platform, software companies could scale on top of it with high recurring revenue. AI is different. Every prompt has a cost. Every AI agent that reads files, calls tools, retries tasks, and produces output consumes real compute. And that cost is already showing up. Microsoft Cloud gross margin declined to 66% in the most recent quarter, partly because of AI infrastructure investment and increased AI product usage. Now look at Amazon's free cash flow. Operating cash flow over the trailing 12 months grew to approximately $148.5 billion. That sounds strong, and it is. But free cash flow over the same period collapsed to roughly $1.2 billion, down from $25.9 billion a year earlier. That is a 95% decline in 1 year. So the market's concern is legitimate. The question is not whether the spending is big. It is. The real question is whether this capex becomes a money pit or a toll road. That is what the rest of this video is about. AI cost controls are not demand destruction. Now, let's talk about the part of the story I think the market is getting completely wrong. The clearest example is Uber. Uber encouraged its roughly 5,000 engineers to use AI coding tools as aggressively as possible. By early 2026, approximately 95% of engineers were using AI tools monthly, with around 70% of committed code coming from AI generation. The result? Uber burned through its entire 2026 AI budget in 4 months. Then it had to set a hard cap of $1,500 per employee per month for tools like Claude Code and Cursor. The media covered this as a warning sign for AI demand. I read it as the exact opposite. Uber did not limit AI because AI failed. Uber limited AI because AI was useful enough to spread faster than any CFO model anticipated. The budget problem does not happen when nobody wants AI. It happens when everyone wants it all at once. That is not demand destruction. That is demand becoming financially managed. Enterprise AI is not pulling back. Enterprise AI is growing up. In the early phase, the question was simple: can we use AI anywhere? Now the question is more serious. Which tasks deserve expensive AI? Which tasks can use cheaper models? And how do we control total cost? When enterprises only cared about the strongest model, value flowed to the model company. But when enterprises care about using the right model at the right cost inside a secure workflow, value flows to the platform. That shift is what the market is missing. How AI monetization actually evolves? To understand why this moment is a pivot, not a peak, you need a framework for how enterprise AI monetization actually works. It moves through 4 stages. Stage 1 is experimentation. This ran from 2023 through most of 2025. Every company wanted an AI strategy. Every product wanted an AI feature. Every department wanted to test the tools. The goal was not ROI. The goal was narrative. And the market loved it. Stage 2 is where we are now, cost optimization. This is where CFOs enter the room. IT teams start building usage dashboards. Simple tasks get routed to cheaper models. Repeated prompts get cached. Expensive frontier models are reserved for high-value work. This looks less exciting than stage 1. But it is much more important because no technology becomes mission critical in the enterprise until it becomes measurable, governed, and budgeted. Stage 3 is per task efficiency. This is where the discussion moves beyond token pricing entirely. The real enterprise metric is not cost per million tokens. It is cost per successful completed outcome. If an AI agent costs $1 per attempt but only succeeds 25% of the time, the real cost is $4 per successful task. If another model costs $3 but succeeds 90% of the time, it may actually be cheaper. That is the math enterprises will increasingly care about. Stage 4 is outcome-based pricing. Enterprises will want to pay for resolved support tickets, accepted code changes, and completed compliance reviews, not just raw compute consumption. That is where AI becomes a true business process platform. And here is the most important point. You cannot reach stage 3 or stage 4 without going through stage 2 first. The cost discipline that looks scary today is the bridge to a more durable AI business model. And the companies building that governance infrastructure right now are not being disrupted. They are becoming more deeply embedded. Now let's talk about who benefits most. 3 companies, 3 ways to win. Microsoft's advantage is distribution. Office, Teams, Outlook, GitHub, Dynamics, and Azure Security are already embedded in how enterprises work every day. Microsoft 365 Copilot has passed 20 million paid seats. Azure grew 40% year over year in Q1 2026. The risk is Copilot's margin structure, because AI features carry real compute costs. But Microsoft is moving toward layered pricing, combining seat fees with usage-based billing. That makes the margin pressure manageable rather than structural. Amazon's advantage is neutrality. AWS is the cleanest multi-model platform of the 3. Customers can use Claude, Amazon's own Nova models, Llama, Mistral, or open-source alternatives, all within Bedrock. AWS AI revenue has already crossed a $15 billion annualized run rate. For AWS, the key question is not which model wins. The key question is whether enterprise AI workloads stay inside the AWS ecosystem. AWS Bedrock's intelligent prompt routing can reduce costs by up to 30% without compromising accuracy, and prompt caching can reduce costs by up to 90% for repeated content. Google's advantage is vertical integration. Gemini models, TPU chips, Google Cloud, Vertex AI, and Model Garden all sit within the same stack. Google Cloud grew 63% year over year in Q1 2026, the fastest of the 3. Cloud operating margin expanded to 32.9%, up from 17.8% a year earlier. Google's first-party models are now processing more than 16 billion tokens per minute, up 60% versus the prior quarter. Google's challenge is not technology. It is enterprise execution. The best model does not automatically win enterprise procurement. AWS and Azure still have deeper enterprise relationships in most accounts. But if AI usage accounting becomes the dominant enterprise concern, Google's cost-efficient TPU stack becomes a real competitive lever. Different strengths, same structural tailwind. The more enterprises care about cost control, governance, and model choice, the more all three benefit from being the platform layer that manages it. What the valuations actually say. So, are these stocks priced for perfection? Or has the market already started pricing in real doubt? Microsoft is currently trading at approximately 19 times forward earnings. Its 5-year historical average has been close to 30 times. That is a 37% discount to its own history. For a company that controls the enterprise workflow entry point, is growing Azure at 40%, and has 20 million paid Copilot seats, that gap is significant. Amazon is at approximately 27 times forward earnings, against a 5-year historical average closer to 45 times. AWS operating margin was still 37.7% in the most recent quarter, despite heavy AI investment. If AWS continues to expand alongside advertising growth and logistics efficiency, 27 times is a credible entry for a company still in active margin normalization. Alphabet is at approximately 24 to 25 times forward earnings, against a 5-year historical average closer to 22 times. So, no, it is not historically cheap the way Microsoft and Amazon are. But it is also hard to call expensive, given 6.3% cloud growth and expanding cloud operating margins. One quick note on Oracle. Oracle's AI infrastructure backlog has surged to roughly $638 billion, up 363% year over year. But Oracle's fiscal 2026 free cash flow was negative $23.7 billion, and it plans to raise approximately $40 billion in additional financing in 2027. Oracle is a high-leverage AI capacity play. The big three are platform stories. Do not put them in the same bucket. Back to Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. The market is no longer pricing these companies as if AI capex has no consequences. The doubt is now visible in the stocks. And when high-quality platform companies trade with visible doubt priced in, long-term investors should pay attention. Toll road or money pit? Here is the cleanest way to frame this entire investment decision. Every dollar of AI capex spent by Microsoft, Amazon, and Google will become one of two things. It will either become a low-return defensive cost in a commoditizing AI arms race, or it will become the infrastructure toll road that enterprise AI runs on for the next decade. Those are two very different outcomes. If you believe AI usage limits mean demand is weakening, the sell-off makes sense. But if you believe AI usage limits mean enterprises are moving from experimentation into production, the interpretation changes completely. Production AI needs governance. Production AI needs cost control. Production AI needs model routing. Production AI needs cloud platforms. Enterprises are not walking away from AI. They are learning how to deploy it seriously. And serious deployment requires exactly what Microsoft, Amazon, and Google are built to provide. The winners of the next phase may not be the companies with the single strongest model. They may be the companies that help enterprises use many models at the right cost, inside the right workflow, with the right controls. So, my view is this. The recent weakness in the big three clouds does not prove the AI story is broken. It proves the market has moved from AI hype to AI math. And for long-term investors, that transition may create opportunity. The key question is not whether AI capex is big. It is enormous. The key question is whether that capex becomes a money pit or a toll road. Right now, I think the market may be underestimating the toll road. Which of the big three do you think has the best setup from here? Microsoft, Amazon, or Google? Drop your pick in the comments and tell me why. I'm Phoebe with TradingKey. Subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.